All right, man. Take your time. You know what it is. Wrong one. Hey, how y'all doing? Hope everybody's good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. All right, so look, today's episode is going to be pretty long. This is the rise and fall of the big three. I wanted to get to this a little while back, but I didn't have a chance to. But I got some time today, so we're going to go through this. Watch this. This is going to be a long one, so stick with me all the way into the end. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you. Before I get into that, I got to get a legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me wait for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell the merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description or right on the screen. Cash App. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,000. And yes, I am the King of the North, the Night King. Let me know what kingdom you are from. So let's get to it, man. This is going to be a goodie. All right, man. So let's get it, man. Links will be in the description. You already know that. So let's go.
See, this new generation, I'm praying that we just all manage to coexist, man. Everything's good. We're all doing our own thing and have our own lanes. Everything's lovely.
Whether you love or hate Drake, this interview is the start of a roller coaster ride. And I believe the lawsuit against UMG for Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us is synonymous, is parallel to this interview right here.
The more, notoriety
Yeah.
that you get, it's gonna be a nigga,
Yeah.
and he's gonna send a shot.
Yeah.
I'm so far ahead of my time, I got people 5 years from now pressing rewind. I'm hardly impressed with y'all. I hate rappers. Where did you artists at? If it ain't a good picture you draw, don't bring it to the architect.
It depends on if it's good.
The Drake that was in this interview wanted no smoke. He wanted nothing but friendship. There was a lack of understanding of beef. And ironically, of all the people that could have been interviewing Drake in this moment, Joe Budden, one of Drake's ops, is encouraging Drake to embrace the competitiveness in hip-hop.
Joe Budden TV, and look who it is.
And in this moment, Drake didn't want to do that. And I think that is very similar to the actions of a lawsuit, not understanding that there's gloves off in a battle rap.
I understand the thirst of being first.
That's 100% facts what he just said. I think a lot of people don't understand when you jump in that battle arena, it's not the same as just making a song. Now you're in direct competition or direct assault against somebody, or they coming at you. So I honestly don't think that Drake foreseen this coming. I think when he battled Meek Mill, I think he actually thought that he was kind of invincible because he beat Meek Mill, and Meek Mill was a battle rapper. So let's keep it going.
Made them both swing, protecting legacies. So lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. My friends went to war, I walked away with all they blood on me.
But this is very different from the Drake that was in 2015, at the top of the game, most importantly, involved in the beef with a very popular rapper from Philly, Meek Mill.
Trigger fingers, turn the trigger fingers. Yeah, you getting bodied by a singing nigga. I'm not the type of nigga that'll type of niggas. Shut all my balls, bitches like a nigga.
Drake was invincible in that moment. So throughout this video, you're going to see.
That's crazy. Use the same exact word. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's how he felt. I think that he was on such a high that he didn't think that anybody could stop him. I'm telling you, I know that's how he felt back then. Like, yeah, I got this. I'm the best ever. Nobody can touch me. I got this.
Different versions of Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, because no matter what you say, all three are legends. This video is going to highlight the highs and the lows of all three, how the differences and how they grew up made them who they are today, for better or for worse. But let's talk about 2013 first.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Took a little trip down to the garden. Took a little dip. How about you falling from my lips? Took a little sip. Bitches coming up. You know that.
2013 was the top of the mountain for Kendrick Cole and Drake together, right? When you look at these videos from this year, you see something similar to Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James here. It's three people at the top of their game, competitive-wise, who have respect for each other. We all thought one day, the way Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD sat down in the Olympics, they were able to talk about their careers. We figured Kendrick Cole and Drake would be able to do that one day.
I was so competitive early on that, like, even though we were all friends, I'm trying to destroy this nigga, you know what I mean? Like, I've been trying to, you know, absolutely make an effort, like, as time goes on to, like, strip the competition from it. Like, y'all niggas are cemented forever. I'm at that point where it's like, I'm more interested in the genuine relationship than before I was interested in the competition.
But what happened in 2013,
I don't know if I agree with with that. I don't know if that's what he actually was doing, but for argument's sake, let's just say he was. But I think at that time, I don't know, he confused me with that. He really did confuse me with that statement, because on one breath he said that he wasn't trying to compete, and in another breath he said he was trying to, you know, get them out of here. But that was in 2021, so maybe he had a difference of an opinion after the Control verse and all that stuff. So I don't know. Let's keep it going.
would never allow that to take place. 2013, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar take the stage at Dollar in a Dream. And J. Cole is celebrating his album, Born Sinner. A hit record was on that album, Power Trip. J. Cole felt on top of the world.
When I say hi, you say power. Hi, hi. When I say born, you say sinner. Born.
Kendrick Lamar was coming off.
Yeah. They was doing it back then.
The success of Good Kid, Mad City, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, hit record. Poetic Justice, hit record. Swimming Pools, hit record. Money Trees, Mad City, they were already catching steam on the internet.
Money Trees is the perfect place for shade, and that's just how.
And this was a brilliant time to be a hip hop fan. And you could see Kendrick and J. Cole look up at the crowd.
Classic shit. This is a motherfucking moment right here, y'all. Y'all better remember this shit forever. Do y'all believe in new legends?
It's beautiful to see. And then you look at a moment here where Drake and J. Cole, they're at Best Buy and they're purchasing J. Cole's Born Sinner.
Damn. They probably got more than that, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And when they get to the register, the woman says,
Boy, they bought more than Kanye. I'm not even gonna lie.
"Oh, more people purchase your album than Kanye." And that is kind of a torch passing, right? Kanye, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Jay-Z, they were at the height of their careers during this time. But J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick, they started to take shape as the leaders of the new school. And then last but not least, Drake.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree that J. Cole and Drake and Kendrick made their way. I think that J. Cole and Drake was a little more closer than Kendrick was to them. I think that Kendrick was always, to me, he was always one of the guys who was kind of secluded, and he had his own thing going. And plus, I think Kendrick was a street dude and these dudes wasn't. And they really didn't have much in common, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Except music. That's a lot, but that's the only thing.
And Kendrick Lamar, from Poetic Justice.
But I could never right my wrongs unless I write it down for real. But I can never right my wrongs unless I write them down for real.
And this moment right here where Drake is in the studio getting ready for Nothing Was the Same's album release, and he has a record for Kendrick to be on. And everybody in the studio, they're bobbing their head to the beat and they keep fantasizing about what Kendrick Lamar can do on this record.
For him, where he's at, that's like, I know he's gonna murder that shit. I know he is.
When he told me Kendrick, it just made so much sense. Oh.
The respect they all had for each other was immense. Now, this is where you get a difference in character, and I said this interview was going to be important. This right here.
Somebody is going to...
I'm not gonna diss me, and you'll never hear a reply from me.
Kendrick Lamar's Control. Kendrick name drops everybody from the block era of hip-hop. A$AP Rocky, Mac Miller, Big Sean, J. Cole, and many more. Drake did not take a liking to that verse, and that is the beginning of the end.
I almost wish.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Control was the beginning of the end for a lot of people's careers, a lot of people's attitudes towards each other. Kendrick definitely made his mark, and he drew a line in the sand and said, if any of you dudes cross this line, I'm going crazy on y'all. This is what hip hop is. Y'all niggas should know what time it is. It's all about competition. All that friendly, buddy. Nah, we ain't doing that no more. No more designers, none of that. Nah, it's going down. And I think that is what really bothered Drake, because Drake didn't really want that. He didn't want that smoke. He didn't.
On J. Cole and many more. Drake did not take a liking to that verse, and that is the beginning of the end.
I almost wish he had come in there on that shit, because I kind of lost like a little respect for the sentiment of the verse. If it's really fuck everybody, then it needs to be fuck everybody. It just can't be halfway for the sake of the people.
Everything that happened from 2013 to 2015 would change the direction of Kendrick, Cole, and Drake's careers.
But the crazy thing is, Kendrick, this is what I mean by rappers are the most they portray to be the hardest, but they the most sensitive people on the planet. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Kendrick Lamar never said, fuck everybody. He basically said, this is competition. Let's make the best music. Who's the best rapper? That's what he said. And a lot of these rappers, they got in their feelings fast. Even rappers that wasn't even mentioned got in their feelings. So crazy.
Drake had a lot of Drake the type of guy jokes going around where people were labeling Drake soft. But this interview right here.
See, this new generation, I'm praying that we just all manage to coexist, man.
It does represent Drake as a very nice guy. He seems like just a chill guy that belongs in no confrontation whatsoever. Like, protect him at all costs is what you may be thinking. Again, this version of Drake no longer exists. And then you have Kendrick Lamar. During this time, Kendrick Lamar's in Compton. He's rap battling in the Nickersons.
I remember seeing Kendrick freestyle in the Nickerson Gardens. You know what I mean? The projects early.
Thinking they hot because they homie said they was a few times, which is too many times to lie to you. They telling a lie. The only time I lie in the booth is when I sleep in it.
And when you look at this video, notice a young Dave Free. That's one thing I want to make sure we highlight. Dave Free was always right next to Kendrick Lamar, even in those earlier days. And Dave Free is Kendrick's creative director and so much more to the hip hop culture. But you see Kendrick Lamar rap battling, earning his respect in a different way. And Drake's call to action was probably to get famous and get respect. Kendrick Lamar's call to action is very similar to Tupac. Of course, there's a little bit of Gemini craziness in it, but the sentiment remains the same. And Kendrick and Tupac, they are like this in terms of a hip-hop fan's dream of someone surpassing Pac. Watch this edit right here. Oh my God, I am a genius for this edit.
Can you tell us the story of seeing Dr. Dre and Tupac filming the California Love video?
And Tupac right there, and I think it was a white Bentley. Yep, they were shooting a video, and
I feel
like if you can't respect yourself, then you can't respect your race, then you can't respect another's race.
My sentiments, exactly. Pac was wild, man.
Oh, so y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh? Oh, y'all ain't gonna let nobody mock and imitate our legends, huh?
Like and subscribe for that edit. Now, J. Cole's called
Bro, that's hilarious. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, like and subscribe just for that edit. Yeah, that edit alone. Shout out to him for that. That was legendary right there.
action is a little similar to Kendrick's, but I would say there's an emphasis on the word humble. I think Kendrick Lamar always wanted the crown. He said it in Euphoria. Cole and Aubrey know I'm a selfish nigga. The crown is heavy, huh? And I think J. Cole from the very beginning stressed being humble. I think this one interview J. Cole did on the streets when he wasn't famous was the one interview that set the tone for the rest of his career.
Being humble, like try to stay that way as long as you possibly can, because like you might not even be the best nigga in the world, you might not be that good, but your personality, if you humble, down to earth, but still, you know, not saying you just quiet and shy, but if you just, like, if you know you ill, but yet you humble with it, it's gonna get you far.
It's all about being humble and staying out the way and letting your work speak for you. And that's how J. Cole was able to cultivate his own audience that's very different from any other audience in hip hop. And this interview where Kevin Hart, one of the biggest celebrities, is speaking on J. Cole is very synonymous with this interview that J. Cole did back in the day.
His success just isn't highlighted because he doesn't highlight it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. People talk for him. Mm-hmm. His numbers speak for himself. People don't even realize J. Cole did a world tour in arenas.
If you more quiet about it and just like, yeah, you know, I'm all right, listen, and then blow their minds, it's like the reaction is so much greater. So I would just say stay humble, no matter if it's just getting on or even when you get on or even when you're a superstar, try to stay as humble as possible. Let the people talk for you, let your music talk for you.
The fact that J. Cole was able to remain on that path and stay who he is a beautiful thing. Now, I will say even J. Cole lost himself at one point. And we'll talk about how all three of these artists have lost themselves in 2013. And something happened between 2013 and 2015 with all three of these artists that changed them forever. But we'll get into that later. Hang on. J. Cole became very relatable for the simple fact that he represented the common man or common woman chasing an education and trying to do something to benefit themselves in the long run.
St. John's University is going up. Listen, going up.
He inspired me. He inspired a lot of college kids, which is why he was always going to have a huge audience for that very reason. He was in the Dave Chappelle Block Party.
Because I was in Dave Chappelle Block Party too.
People in the audience can MC. God damn. This puppet handling food.
He was living the New York City life. He was in Queens.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I remember that. I remember J. Cole popping out. I remember J. Cole. You know the crazy thing is, I was on a train with J. Cole when I didn't even know it was at the time. I remember sitting on a train in Manhattan with J. Cole, and I didn't know it was J. Cole. I did not know. I believe it was J. Cole. He looked like J. Cole. He looked like him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it wasn't him. I don't know. Nigga looked like J. Cole though. But it was a lot of niggas that looked like J. Cole back in the day.
And he was creating these mixtapes, the Come Up, the Warm Up, Friday Night Lights. During the time the Warm Up came out, he was pushing records like Lights Please. Oh, there goes Kendrick Lamar in the background.
J. Cole, did you tell Dr. Dre about Kendrick?
J. Cole eventually gets on Rock Nation with Jay-Z. And Jay-Z, ironically, was begging Drake to help J. Cole out. He was like, yo, Drake, help a brother out.
Once I signed to Jay and this nigga was like, nah, you're not putting the album out till you got some hits.
See, during this time when J. Cole was on that grind trying to find a hit record, Drake was already there. Drake had it a little bit different than Kendrick and Cole. He was from Degrassi. Drake was already a name in Hollywood.
I was gonna wait till tomorrow, but I think you might need this now. Happy anniversary.
Who's the man? You're looking at him. Degrassi Panthers, Jimmy Brooks is on the prowl.
To me, Drake's biggest obstacle
real shit. I literally can watch a whole. That's what I'm gonna do one day. I swear, I'm gonna watch a whole episode of Degrassi and just laugh at Drake's acting, bro. I don't know, man.
was getting the respect from hip hop fans and the culture because one, he was biracial.
And just being biracial, but still being Jewish. So I was like kind of connected to the kids, but like sort of distant.
And number two, Degrassi. People thought, how can you come from this TV sitcom and prove to us that you some hard rapper?
You can judge me if you want. That's cool. Like sooner or later though, it's going to be inevitable that your girlfriend's gonna be playing it, your mom's gonna want to listen to it.
The funniest thing in the world is that during this time, Drake had a table full of all of his hip hop inspirations. And on that table, you see Kanye West and you see Pharrell.
Particularly Pharrell, he's like one of my idols.
So wanna take off for Pharrell and come get his legacy out of my house.
On top of the Degrassi background, Drake also was signed to Young Money Cash Money. So he had the Lil Wayne co-sign. And in 2008, Lil Wayne was on top of the music industry. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing the Carter 3. We were such big fans of Lil Wayne that you had to be a fan of Drake, Nicki Minaj, and everybody else who was coming out of Young Money at the time.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. Something in my eye. I don't know about that. I don't know about, I mean, maybe Drake and Nicki, but rest of them dudes, nobody know who them dudes are. Them dudes, nobody know YMCMB. Like, nobody knows who the rest of them other dudes are. I'm sorry, they don't. But nah, Drake and Nicki did their thing. No, I ain't gonna lie about that.
Now, with that being said, Drake was definitely the most talented and best I ever had, kept things rolling some more, got him all the radio exposure, and just like that, in 2010, he was easily one of the top 3 biggest hip-hop artists in the industry. To me, even though J. Cole had the Jay-Z cosign, you can get the vibe that Jay-Z wasn't gonna help J. Cole until he had some motion. It's like, until you go out and get a hit on your own, don't ask me for shit.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house.
And Friday Night Lights, this right here, was an incredible work of art. Like, this would easily be a top 3 J. Cole album, but they had to put it out as a mixtape because the label thought, there's no hit record on this project. Even In the Morning with Drake wasn't considered a hit record. For Kendrick, he came up a very underground way with Black Hippie, 3 of his good friends coming together as a rap collective. Kendrick was a hype man for J-Rock.
K-Dot, straight out of Compton, top dog, KNT, / Def Jam. Getting it in 07 to 3000. That's my slogan.
So what you working on right now?
Working on the album, working on the mixtape, working on my man project, J-Rock.
Right now, man, I'm pressing up this Kendrick Lamar mixtape. It's not a mixtape, it's actually an EP. 11 song original, all originals. Just basically trying to get my story out there first and going with the name change or whatnot.
And he really had to find his audience.
Cause ignorance is bliss. 8 doobies to the face. Fuck that.
Section 80, this project right here, absolutely amazing. Po Man's Dreams is my favorite song off this album. But like I said, during this time from 2011 to 2013, Drake was already at the top. When this album came out, Take Care, Drake was out of here. Despite the emo jokes, despite the Drake is so soft jokes, Take Care was labeled a phenomenal album. Now it's labeled a classic, but this time was different.
I don't know if it's labeled a classic. Maybe for some of y'all, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If you say he got a classic by default, cool, but I don't think Drake has any classic albums. Okay, you know what? Let me take that back. If I had to choose a classic, it would definitely be Nothing Was the Same. And If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. To me, I definitely think that a lot of these songs are known because of other people. But as far as like this being a classic, probably by default. But being a classic that I can say, yeah, this is not a To Pimp a Butterfly. This is not a Good Kid, Mad City. No way in shape, form that's anywhere close to that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know you don't love me, baby. What do I do there?
Okay,
yeah.
So I know you don't love me, baby.
Over My Dead Body, Look What You've Done. J. Cole put out the Cold World Sideline Story project. He had some hit records of his own. And then Kendrick Lamar would go on to put out Good Kid, Mad City. And Kendrick had hit record after hit record. And one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. They were labeling this album an instant classic when it came out. So in 2013, all three of these artists, even though you could give Drake the edge in the popularity contest, they were all capable of putting up big numbers with hit records and critically acclaimed albums, which is a great thing. And this is the closest we get to the lovey-dovey stage of the big three, until Control dropped.
Trying to murder you niggas, trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas.
This is my hot take. When Control dropped, I believe this changed Drake's career, Cole's career, and Kendrick's career. I'll explain why. During this time,
I agree. 100% agree. It was so aggressive. It was so attackful, if that's a word. It was just something that I think a lot of people couldn't wrap their head around it, because the thing is, in hip hop, you don't supposed to say people names. And he came out and said all of their names. Everybody that was in his class. Everybody. And look where he at now. So
Kendrick Lamar was walking around like Tupac Shakur.
Hey, have a good summer. Have a good summer, B.I.
That's a big homie. Everybody else got to try harder, though.
Taking shots at people during his BET hip-hop cypher.
Yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajamas clothes.
But Kendrick Lamar was dealing with something, and we'll learn this in this album here, To Pimp a Butterfly. Kendrick Lamar was dealing with the evils of Lucifer, and everything that comes with fame. Kendrick was very depressed. So in 2014, if you really think about it, all three of these artists went quiet in 2014, and we do not talk enough about that. There was no Kendrick album.
I don't know about that. I don't know if Kendrick was very depressed when he made To Pimp a Butterfly. I don't think he was depressed. I mean, if you're going off what he was saying in the album, he kind of like got to the end of the album. He wasn't really depressed. But I don't think he was depressed. You know what I mean? I think that Kendrick Lamar was in the spirit of composition. But
no Kendrick singles. We did not hear from Kendrick. The first time we see Kendrick is on Saturday Night Live, and he looked completely different.
Oh, man. Hey, homie, I told you straight up a confidence.
He was tapping into something artistically and spiritually that I would have never predicted after Good Kid, Mad City. J. Cole, same thing. Even though he put out 2014 Forest Hills Drive, that wasn't until the end of 2014. For most of the year, J. Cole was pretty quiet. He was growing out his hair a little bit. And then eventually, The next time we see J. Cole, he drops a surprise album, no features, and it's this right here where he talks about dealing with fame and how fame was no good to J. Cole, to the point where he wanted to go back home to North Carolina, spend some time with his mom, and value the things that matter most in life, which is not fame, which is not money, which is not trying to be the king of hip hop. It's being with your loved ones.
I've gotten to this point in my career and realized that, yeah, I got a lot more dreams and I want to go further. I don't want it if it's at the expense of my happiness. This shit ain't real.
It's like I'm probably one of the few people that really lives this rap life. Like, I really live this rap life for real. I'm really out here partying. You see the house.
Up at the baby
you see
show.
it. Yeah. I'm out. I'm in the streets.
During this time, To Pimp a Butterfly.
And that's one of the reasons why people say what they say about him. This guy is literally out here saying he lived the rap life. Like, what is the rap life? Like, for you, you can say that because you looked at all these rappers and said, okay, that's what the rap life is. But for me, it just goes to show you how fake this dude is, in my opinion.
In 2014 Forest Hills Drive. This is around the time where Trayvon Martin, where a lot of police brutality was the topic of discussion. And J. Cole, he went on a late night show and he performs this record right here, Be Free.
Maybe he had good intentions but was stifled by the system and was sad to learn he actually couldn't bring any. All we want to do is be free. All we want to do is be free.
Where he bears his all on stage. Kendrick Lamar was doing different late night shows and he was making a statement with every single one.
What the black man say? Tell him we don't die. Tell him we don't die. Tell him we don't die. We multiply.
Eventually, The Blacker the Berry comes out, and then this whole album right here was taking a stance, right? Talking about fame, but also saying, hey, I'm not with this fame shit. I'm going back to my hometown. I'm trying to restore my community. I'm also going to Africa to learn about Nelson Mandela. I'm going to Africa to learn about my roots, and I want to uplift the black community. The difference is during this time, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, they were changing so much. To me, J. Cole was changing in terms of his mindset. Kendrick Lamar changed in terms of his mindset and his music. I don't think J. Cole changed all that much with his music. I think it was just his mindset and the topics. Whereas Kendrick Lamar, he was obviously incorporating jazz, funk, blues, spoken word, everything under the sun into his music. But Drake, let's be very clear. In 2015, Drake looked like the most invincible rapper on earth. In the sense that If You're Reading This Is Too Late is one of the most braggadocious projects ever, right? And you hear Drake over trap drums. And he follows up this project right here where he's just popping his shit. He follows it up with the Meek Mill beef. And with the Meek Mill beef, he's going against a rapper with a lot of street cred.
Summer nights can even turn cold. In the streets of Philly when niggas don't even get to turn old. My heart pumping to a turn gold.
Gangsta Philly rapper. And the fact that Drake went head to toe with Meek Mill, puts out back-to-back, and completely destroys Meek Mill's reputation. And more importantly, he won the court of public opinion, not only with mainstream fans, but also with the streets. This, to me, made Drake invincible, a different beast. It made him feel like he could do whatever, say whatever.
I mean, I kind of agree with that. I thought I said it earlier. He probably felt like he was invincible, but did this make him invincible? I think he still didn't address the whole control thing, at least on record. He went deaf. He went straight after Meek Mill because I think he felt like he can beat Meek Mill. But it was just a weird thing to do when you and Nicki Minaj were friends and you dissing her boyfriend. And some people say because he liked Nicki, but who knows? But I kind of agree. He did. He kind of he kind of felt like that.
With no consequences whatsoever because he's going to win in every facet of the game. And to then follow that up with What a Time to Be Alive with Future, who is one of the biggest rappers coming out of Atlanta. And then you put out Views, which had global success records like One Dance, Hotline Bling, Controller. It put Drake in a different stratosphere.
I need a one dance.
But this era brings me to this interview right here. I want you to listen closely to what Drake says.
To those guys' credit, and a lot of, like, some of the inspiration I've taken from them for the last 6 months is just like, you know, they come, they do what they need to do, and they go back to their real life. You know, they go back to their beautiful families.
He has accountability over the fact that as he's aged in his career, he did not make any changes internally, right? To be a family man, to be someone outside of the famous life of Drake. Whereas Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, they made a huge distinction between being a music artist and being a famous celebrity. You could tell that both
That's true. That's true. I definitely think that Drake got to a point in his career, especially now, that he loves to live the bachelor life. He has a child, but even with that being said, I still feel like Drake still looks at it like, well, it's kind of weird to say this, but he looks at his single mom, and I think that's the reason why he really doesn't want to be tied down to one woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he's gonna be like that forever, because I think Drake, out of these two, Drake is the new age. He has a new age mind. Versus them, they have the old age mind. Like, I believe J. Cole is married. I'm not sure, but I know Kendrick, has a girlfriend or whatever. But I definitely think that they're more focused on family, and he's more focused on his career still. Excuse me. Yeah. So let's keep it going.
Kendrick and J. Cole kind of hate the idea of being a celebrity. Whereas Drake, during this time, it kind of came across like he loved the shit. During this time, I think J. Cole stayed the course, because even after 2014 Forest Hills Drive, J. Cole put out For Your Eyes Only, which is the same thing. It's a very theme-heavy album, concept-heavy album. There's no huge record on it in terms of commercial appeal, but it's just a great quality album.
Your daddy was a real nigga cause he loved you. For Your Eyes Only.
And this song right here is one of the greatest storytelling records of all time. And then KOD, same thing. The message of the album, especially at a time where the XXL freshman cypher group of rappers who were very different, very eccentric.
Hey, tell that little bitch I got money. Hey, tell that little bitch it is nothing. Hey, hit that bitch right from the back. She got turkey. I knock out that bitch like it's stuffing. Okay.
Now, Drake, even when he was at the height of his career, to me, albums like To Pimp a Butterfly made Kendrick Lamar an even bigger superstar. It made Kendrick Lamar get talked about in conversations in jazz, rock, blues, different genres. The music junkies, the casual music listener that's listening to pop music, they're going to talk about Drake till the day ends. But those music fans who listen to the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, listen to Kamasi Washington, these music junkies, they became obsessed with Kendrick Lamar during To Pimp a Butterfly. And then for Kendrick to follow it up with Damn, which is an album that was very commercially successful, with Humble, DNA, Love, Loyalty, Element, just huge record after huge record.
Be humble. Sit down. Sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building. I wanna be with you.
Then he had Goosebumps with Travis Scott. He had Bad.
Yeah. That album, man. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Damn album is better than every Drake album. Just Damn is GNX before GNX. If we talking like commercially successful album. Definitely is. Easy to follow along with, easy to digest. wasn't really much. I would say Damn and GNX is kind of like they kind of don't really mirror each other, but they are very close to commercially conceptual records that's easy to follow along with. Let's keep it going.
Bad Blood with Taylor Swift, then the Black Panther album where you have All the Stars and Pray For Me with The Weeknd. There were so many huge songs that Kendrick Lamar was a part of. To me, something in Drake had to be slightly bothered at the fact that Kendrick Lamar was both commercial and conscious. Kendrick even taunts, I believe, Drake on the song Mask Off, the remix, where he says, how y'all let a nigga go commercial while only making conscious albums? And I think there's something to be said that maybe Drake underestimated how powerful Kendrick Lamar was in mainstream hip hop. Now, the thing with Drake, though, and this is all leading.
That's a fact. That's a fact. What he just said is 100% fact. I definitely believe that that's what really caused Drake to have this jealous nature for Kendrick in a way. And then I think Drake actually took a shot at him. I believe Drake said, I can have all your fans if I stayed on some conscious shit. I cannot remember whether that was before Mask Off or after Mask Off. I know it was on a song with believe I can't remember what song it was, but he definitely said that. And I don't remember if that was before Mask Off or if it was after. But yeah, let's keep it going.
To something bigger. A lot of people mention the Pusha T beef. I don't think people understand what I mean by the court of public opinion. The reason why Drake is suing UMG is in part A, because he wants more money, but B, because he lost the court of public opinion and he's crashing out.
He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. He won't.
Because he never thought he would lose that. Pusha T did not do enough to threaten that aspect of Drake's career. I'll explain. The real hip hop fans, the music junkies, when this beef happened, we all said Pusha T won. Drake does not care about that. One thing you can learn right now, Drake fans do not care about Kendrick Lamar and his conscious albums like To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale. They don't care. It doesn't bother them. The thing with the Pusha T beef is the story of Adidon. That record was huge. It was a knockout punch. Drake got a kid. What? Huh? But guess what? He was still able to put out huge records that overshadowed that Pusha T record.
Well, I agree. But I will say the reason why that is because is one of the major reasons why is because he did not really focus on Pusha, and he actually said, I lost. That's the reason. It wasn't because he put out records after that. No, he admitted to losing to him. He admitted. He said, I lost. He got me. I lost. I think that that's what really turned it around for Drake, because people looked at him in a different manner. They looked at him in a humbling manner, like, oh, this guy really, he really is a human. He's not a reptilian under that skin. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened. I think that was one of the major reasons why he kind of got around that story of Adidon, because he embraced the loss and went on with it. Now, I think if he would have did that with Kendrick, it might have had worked for him. But who knows?
God's plan.
I like it when you love it on me. I don't want to die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me.
Nice for what? In My Feelings. Those were the 3 hit records from Scorpion. Those records were huge. Although the story of Adidon was punishing, it wasn't a hit record. It wasn't a bop. And we'll get into that when we talk about Meet the Grams. No one's complaining. Drake is not complaining about Meet the Grams. And Kendrick Lamar said on Meet the Grams, your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think niggas like him should die. The average music fan is not replaying Meet the Grams. I am, but the average music fan is not. But the average music fan...
I mean, well, There's a reason why that is. The average music fan does like bops. It's not like, well, the average music fan isn't playing it because it's not a great record. You know what I'm saying? The average music fan, I agree that the average music fan does how would I say this? They like music that's not so difficult to follow. I mean, that's just what it is. But even with the story of Adidon, even though those records were bigger than that, that record was much more damaging to Drake's career than how successful his other records were. Because Drake, obviously Drake is a big artist, and he's going to maintain that to a certain extent. But the reason why he got around that is because he admitted to losing. That's it. If Drake didn't admit to losing and Pusha T would have kept going, and plus Pusha T stopped. Pusha T would have kept going because he could have. Yeah, it would have been something different. It would have been something different, but let's keep it going.
Oh, yeah. They're replaying Not Like Us. Everybody. So the Pusha T beat to me didn't really wound Drake like that. So to me, Drake is still invincible. And he follows the path of album, Certified Lover Boy, hit record.
I disagree with that. I don't think that Drake was invincible after the story of Adidon. No. I think Drake was still successful, but for him to be invincible, nah. It wasn't that, because to be honest with you, after the story of Adidon, Scorpion people liked it. But after Scorpion, his career started going like this. And a lot of these records that they might have had numbers behind them, but they're not good records. They're not good albums. These albums are not good albums. You know what I'm saying? This album, the album after that, they're not good albums. So I get what he's saying, but I'm just giving him some pushback on that. But let's keep going.
Then go grab 21 Savage. Let's do a collab album. Her Loss comes out. He follows the same recipe for success. Let me go grab Lil Yachty. Boom, boom, boom. Let me put out this album. And to me, it works. It works like a charm. Even when you call some of his albums trash, like Honestly Nevermind, there's always a hit record at the end of it that can let Drake prosper. But that takes me to the later stages of the Big Three's career, right? And this is the most interesting thing about Like That. Like That's gonna go down in history for so many reasons. Because at one point, you can make an argument that maybe Drake wasn't the hottest rapper out. It was J. Cole. Because remember what I said, from 2014 to about 2019, J. Cole was in a pocket where he was making concept-heavy albums with very strong messages, but J. Cole started to do a feature run where he started to collab with everyone from the old generation to the new generation. This run that J. Cole went on was special. And even though Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, this album right here is classic. Classic to me. I love this album. The tour was one of the biggest tours in the world, but it goes back into the theme of To Pimp a Butterfly, where he's not trying to reach commercial success. He's trying to create thought-provoking music, right? And I'll do a video on this later on, how Kendrick Lamar goes from conscious album to mainstream album. And he goes back and forth, conscious, mainstream. Mainstream was Good Kid, Mad City. Conscious was To Pimp a Butterfly. Mainstream was Damn. Conscious was Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper. Mainstream is GNX. He does that a lot. But this is the first time where J. Cole was like, yo, I'm hopping on every big record. 21 Savage, a lot, I'm on it.
How many faking they streams, getting they plays from machines?
Lil Durk's All My Life, I'm on it. You know, and then he would hop on Johnny P's Caddy or Boblo Boat by Royce da 5'9". Like, he was really hopping and covering his bases with every fan base in hip hop. And that to me made J. Cole at one point the biggest rapper in the world. I could say that.
I'm probably gonna go to hell if Jesus asks for a feature.
And I think what happened to J. Cole,
I don't know about that. I mean, in the wake of someone's absence, I guess you can use that as a talking point, but for me, if I'm absent, but people are still talking about me, even though you are on a feature run, and people are still talking about me, and I'm still winning more awards, and I'm still every album I drop is still doing better than yours, and I'm still the most. My tours are bigger than yours. How can you say that he's the hottest just because I'm not as how would I say this? Just because I'm not as uh out in the open as you, how can you say that? But I mean, I guess you can. I guess you can say the hottest as active at that point. But I don't know if I would agree with that fully. Let's keep going.
He was getting a little bit of Drake's medicine, where he was talking about it on record. I will kill your favorite rapper. I'm the biggest MC in the world. Anybody that tries to fuck with my stance in hip hop, you get indebted.
We the big three like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali.
First person shooter was J. Cole and Drake popping their shit. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar is talking about mental health and therapy, and he's just sitting back. But see, Kendrick Lamar is a Gemini, and there's a part of Kendrick where he is competitive, and I can tell Kendrick Lamar will look at J. Cole and Drake on stage, talking about they're the best MCs in the game, feeling like, nah, I need to call their bluff.
Fuck you. Fuck the plane you flew in on. Fuck them shoes.
And then that's where Like That comes from. To me, that's where Like That comes from. Now,
all right, so I kind of agree with that. I definitely think all of these things was culminated all the way up into like the combination of things that happened all the way up to 2024. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when Kendrick seen J. Cole and Drake doing all these things, saying all these things, and they was taunting him. I'm sorry, they was. We the big three, like we started a league. Like right now, I feel like Muhammad Ali, Spider-Man is me looking at Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's ask bitch who to go. I only see you and Cole. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Deliberately pushing Kendrick's buttons. And I think that when they did first person shooter and Kendrick and Future Metro did like that, I think that Kendrick wanted to, he wanted to up the ante on him. Like, look, okay, all right. So since y'all want to take shots, I'm gonna take shots at y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. I'm gonna take on both of y'all. I'm gonna battle both of y'all. And to me, that is the most underrated or not talked about point of this whole battle. That Kendrick Lamar was literally about to battle J. Cole and Drake at the same time. Like, yeah, that's, to me, that right there just shows you how much of an animal Kendrick is. Let's keep it going.
Like That comes out, and this is where we get into the beef, and this is where things change. After Like That comes out, and I believe J. Cole's like, oh yeah, we gonna do a nice friendly sparring match. Kendrick's like, hell yeah, we're gonna do a nice friendly sparring match. Drake is like, well, why would he do that? Why would he say fuck us for? And that's when we get into the nitty gritty.
See this new generation? I'm praying that we just all manage to coexist, man. Everything's good. We're all doing our own thing and have our own lanes. Everything's lovely.
The more, notoriety that you get, it's gonna be a nigga.
Yeah.
And he's gonna send a shot.
Motherfuck the big three. Nigga, it's just big me, nigga.
J. Cole puts out 7-Minute Drill, discrediting Kendrick's work, saying that it puts people to sleep.
Your second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it.
And then last but not least, the short jokes.
Your arms might be too short to box with the god.
In combination with J. Cole eventually not meaning anything he was saying on the record.
Extend it more and more.
Oh, Carmelo's going to take a shot.
Smart decision, Mello.
And then J. Cole apologizing on stage and bigging up Kendrick Lamar.
Moving incorrectly. And I pray that God align me back up on my purpose and on my path You know what I mean? I pray that my nigga really didn't feel no way. And if he did, my nigga, I got my chin out. Take your best shot. I'm gonna take that shit on the chin, boy. Do what you do.
I think it goes to show you that J. Cole is someone who's always gonna follow his own intuition.
Some people say that I'm running third. They threw the bronze at me. Behind Drake and Dot, yeah, them niggas is superstars to me.
You can appreciate his coming back to earth. I believe Drake is already calling people on the phone for hours. Yo, I'm gonna cook this guy. I'm gonna destroy Kendrick's career. Fuck it.
Is the rapper in you going to say, you know what? Fuck it.
Drake starts making phone calls to Compton. How much money can I give Hitta? How much money can I give this individual to spill the beans on Kendrick Lamar?
It was fun.
That's a fact. And I think Drake didn't know. I think Drake really didn't understand he was out of his element. I think when you believe that you because like he said, Drake probably did feel like he was invincible. When you are facing someone who is a god to some people, bro, there's nothing you can do with that. And I think that that's what happened. I think that he felt like, yeah, I could take him down. It's not this, this little nigga Kenny, whatever. I was the one that started his career. I'm gonna cook him. I'm telling you, I'm gonna cook him. And it's like, he wasn't paying attention to everything Kendrick has done all this time. He wasn't. I think Drake wasn't paying attention. He wasn't. He was so in his own world, in his own bubble, that I think he thought that this was another Meek Mill. Like, hey, I'll get him out of here. Or it's a little bit better than Pusha T. Whatever. He's nothing. I'll get him out of here. And boy, oh boy, he was wrong.
Until you start to put money in the streets, they lost money because they came back with no receipts.
I want to know about Kendrick. What's the dirt on Kendrick? There has to be something. He can't be perfect. What's the dirt?
I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace.
Kendrick Lamar hears about this. Yo, I got a call from somebody in OVO. They were like, yo, we'll give you $100,000. What you know about Kendrick? Yo, we'll give you this amount of money if you could tell me something about his family. And Kendrick's like, yo, this could have jeopardized my family. This could have burdened the ones that loved me. If somebody gave you this information, now they might get hurt. So then I believe there was a conversation between Kendrick's camp and J. Cole's camp that said, hey, yo, this is going to get ugly. 7-minute drill. There's an understanding. Look, apologize. I won't even diss you. I won't diss you. Notice Kendrick Lamar has not dissed J. Cole. We don't talk enough about that.
He did just J. Cole. He did. He dissed J. Cole in Euphoria. He dissed J. Cole in Not Like Us. Did Cole foul? I don't know why you still pretended. Like, not a full out diss, but in Euphoria he dissed him. So he definitely did. He did. He did.
During the apology, J. Cole said, my chin is out.
My nigga, I got my chin out. Take your best shot. I'm gonna take that shit on the chin, boy. Do what you do.
Take your best hit. Kendrick Lamar never responded to 7-minute drill. Never. The closest thing we got to it was, I see two goats kissing and hugging on stage. I love them to death. And in 8 bars, I'll explain that phrase. And to be honest, I think that part of Euphoria was already written before Kendrick Lamar got the phone call that Drake was putting money in the streets to dig up dirt on Kendrick. Because when you listen to Euphoria, Euphoria comes across as a warning shot. Push-ups comes across as a warning shot. The warning shot is, we're going to bring families into this.
It's the bigger love of the family.
And this is what I'll stand on. I don't think Kendrick wanted to bring families into it for one reason and one reason only. Kendrick Lamar does not like fame. Kendrick Lamar comes across as somebody who likes a very private life, a private and quiet life. I think he would prefer his son, daughter, and fiance to stay out of our mouths.
I be with some bodyguards like Whitney.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
So this was supposed to be a friendly sparring match.
Lupita. Look at Lupita, yo.
Bodyguards like Whitney.
Keep my wife's name out.
Look at Lupita, man. Yo, she's gorgeous. Lupita is one of the best looking women in the world. Yo, she is so fine. Oh my God.
So this was supposed to be a friendly sparring match. He heard that money was in the street. So now he's like, oh shit, so he's probably gonna say something about my family. What can he say? Well, now you bring up this album right here, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick's most personal album to date. On this album, Kendrick Lamar details there's troubles with his relationship with Whitney. Drake took this album and said, you know what, I'm gonna create my own narrative based on this album. Kendrick Lamar saying that he's having trouble with Whitney on Mr. Morale. Okay, I'm gonna say that one of his kids is not his, and I'm gonna say that he beats his girl up, right? I believe that Kendrick Lamar knew Drake was gonna do that. He got word, hey yo, just a heads up, this is coming your way. Good luck. So in Euphoria, the song's called Euphoria, and it's a simple shot at the fact that Drake is the executive producer of the show Euphoria. That's already a shot. Then he says, fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale.
I can predict your angle. Fabricate stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale.
A pathetic master manipulator, I can smell the tails on you now. Like, he already knows that Drake is up to this shit. So he says,
I make music that electrify. You make music that pacify. I can double down on that line, but spray this time. Random acts of kindness.
I make music to electrify them. You make music that pacify them. I could double down on that line. That was the warning shot right there. If you go here with it, I'm going to talk about you liking young girls.
Talk about them liking young girls. That's a gift for me.
When Drake says on push-ups, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney, that was him testing the waters of, I'm going to say your girl's name. Letting Kendrick know, hey, I'm capable of saying the name Whitney. Even though he's talking about Whitney Houston, who was in the movie The Bodyguard, that was him saying, Whitney, that's your fiance's name.
Well, there's another reason, because people were saying, at least some people were saying, the reason why he said that is because she was sleeping with the bodyguard. And that's why he was saying, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney, because they were saying that Whitney was supposedly sleeping with Kendrick's bodyguard, which I don't believe, but that's what people were saying. And that's why he's seen that on the internet, because I seen that on the internet. He's seen that, because there's a lot of stuff came from the internet. He's seen it on the internet, and he put it in the bar.
I won't elaborate. That was a warning shot. When on Taylor Made Freestyle, he says, talk about him liking young girls for me, that was, I know your angle. And then on Euphoria, when Kendrick Lamar says, fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale, to me, that's the equivalent of talk about him liking young girls for me. That's, hey, I know your angle is going to be something about my family based on the fact that you heard Mr. Morale. So you see the parallels in what Kendrick and Drake did on these three records right here. 616 in LA represents Kendrick in so many ways, because this record right here is strictly strategy, right? Everything from Drake taunting Kendrick with Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift, and then Kendrick Lamar getting on a record produced by Jack Antonoff. Everything from Kendrick Lamar talking with God, right? And you could tell Kendrick is at one with himself. That's what I get from 616 in LA. He's like, God, I have to go to war.
Why does it always have to end up like this? 'Cause you's a bitch.
And you could tell Kendrick really studied his opponent, right? He was ready for it all. I know everything about this man. I know his character traits. I know his demons. I know what he's running away from. I know his addictions. I know his mom's and father's addictions as well, and what that passed on to the son. I know it all. I know what he did to Lil Wayne. I know what he did to Cole. I know the music that he latched onto from a cultural standpoint just to get brownie points.
We been them niggas that lead the way. You know what I'm saying? We been doing the new slang. We been taking words around the whole globe. Like, rappers been getting that from niggas like us. Right.
And last but not least, even the Not Like Us music video, where does it start? At a courthouse. right? I'm pretty sure Kendrick Lamar foreshadowed all of this the moment he was writing 616 in LA. Now, keep in mind what I said earlier in the video. Drake underestimated Kendrick's ability to have mainstream hit records. He underestimated that. All right, I'll say.
And I don't understand why. Why would he underestimate that when he already has mainstream hit records? I don't understand. I just don't understand why Drake would underestimate that. That's crazy to me.
It over and over again. So when Drake comes out with Family Matters, his nuke, his red button, right? Remember, during this time, Drake was egging Kendrick to drop just so he can get this record out. This was his championship game. Remember, he had a vacation plan. The moment Family Matters released, Drake was like, okay, I'm going on vacation. Drake drops Family Matters. Catchy tune, catchy flow, interesting beat. He talks about a lot of different artists, but the parts where he talks about Kendrick, he drops some heavy information. One of them little kids is Dave Freeze. Speculate about that. Hey, Kendrick Lamar hired a crisis management team to cover up the fact that he was beating on his girl. Let's talk about that. And remember, when Family Matters came out, he told all the streamers, all the content creators, stay on stream. Stay on stream, react to the new song. He thought this was gonna be the talk of the town. And that's
Yeah, he really did. I'm telling you, when that record came out, I was watching it. I actually did a reaction to it with one of my boys, and we reacted to it. And I was never under the impression like, wow, damn, I don't know what Kendrick gonna do. I said, Kendrick's gonna smoke him. That's what I said. I said, this is dope. And he was spitting. I said, but this ain't gonna stop Kendrick. But the thing was, I did not know that Kendrick was gonna drop right after that. And I think that's what, because nobody ever seen something like that. You understand? We live in a time where you had to wait weeks for a diss track because we didn't have like the internet to actually upload. Like if you diss somebody, you had to wait for them to put it out, like print it out. You had to put it out on a record, like, or it had to come out on the radio. Like you couldn't go get the cassette. You had to wait for them to send it to the Funk Master Flex or whoever, and then they dropped the record. But other than that, like now you could literally diss somebody and you could diss somebody 5 minutes later. Like it could just happen just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Kendrick Lamar did the greatest, most strategic move in hip hop history. He drops Meet the Grams. The interesting thing with Meet the Grams, it was meant to just step over Family Matters. I believe, and this is karma. This is karma. When you get all of these streamers to try to be on your side, right? Yo, stay on stream. Something's about to happen. Everybody be alert.
I was like, it's about to go down.
When you do that and you put out the record, to me, I can care less how you feel from that point on about Not Like Us. But we'll get into that in a second. Meet the Grams comes out and it steals your thunder. It backfires. Because now all those people that are on stream, Kai Cenat, RDC World, Zias, all them people that's on stream, they have to sit there and be like, holy shit. And they have to look at their community. They have to look at their chat being like, yo, Kendrick just dropped. Kendrick just dropped. Kendrick just dropped.
What Kendrick say? Kendrick dropped immediately? No fucking way. No fucking way.
Welcome back to This
When DJ Academics was realizing in real time that Kendrick Lamar just dropped a new song, bro, we all know where we were, bro. I get a text message from my boy. He's like, yo, Drake just dropped a nuke. He's a Drake fan on the low. So I'm like, all right, let me listen to this. And mind you, when I listened to it, I was shocked too. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like, Kendrick is my favorite artist of all time. So I don't trust what Drake has to say. However, I thought it was a little catchy, and I'm not gonna lie. For a moment, I was like, damn, does Drake know something that we don't know about Kendrick?
Yeah, that's a lot of people felt that way. I'm gonna tell you right now, when this is what happened with me. Like, this is literally what happened. I was down here in the studio. We did a reaction. We hung up. We talked about it on the phone a little bit. Me and my boy. It was like I believe it was like 1:00 in the morning or some shit, right? And I went upstairs. I get upstairs and then I get a notification. Like I laid in the bed and then ding, I'm like, man, what is this? I looked up and it said Kendrick Lamar. YouTube beat the curse. I was like, yo, I called my boy back like, yo, we gotta go. Kendrick just dropped a song. He like, what? I'm like, yeah. He said, yo, you serious? I'm like, he just dropped a response. He's like, there's no way. I'm like, bro, he just did. He said, you sure it's real and ain't AI? I'm like, nah, bro, this is on his official account. So I had to come back downstairs. It's like 1:00 in the morning. We did the reaction. So I remember exactly where I was at with that. That's crazy.
Second, I was shook. And then out of nowhere, boom, my phone starts blowing up again. Kendrick dropped. I'm like, what? Ain't no way. Somebody, oh shit. And then you listen to Meet the Grams. And Meet the Grams is, to me, similar to the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp at the beginning of the year.
It's God's side and the other side.
Where Cat Williams was sharing everything about what was going on, all the secrets of Hollywood. That's how it felt. The beat, the tone, Kendrick addressing every member of his family. But when you get to the part where your son's a sick man with sick thoughts, I think niggas like him should die, you start to look at Drake differently. And you're like, holy shit. But the smartest thing that Kendrick Lamar did in Meet the Grams was the last verse, right? Obviously saying, hey, yo, he got a daughter. He got a daughter. It takes the pull away from Dave Free being the father of one of them kids. You're not even thinking about that anymore. And then the last verse where he says, why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in. That line and the other line that no one talks about. You lied about the only artist that can offer you some help. Fuck a rap battle. This a long life battle with yourself.
Yo, I said that. I said that. That line haunts Drake to this day. You lied about the only rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my thing is like, this is how I know that Kendrick Lamar heard Family Matters already. And he was basically warning Drake. He told Drake in 616 in LA, I heard this already in so many words. I would even go as far as saying in Euphoria, he probably heard the song. But Drake didn't listen.
When it comes to trying to check Drake, it was good riddance, body, and it was over.
So yo,
there was no rebuttal. There was no.
It ended right there.
It was good. Like, don't try and check me, man.
Why believe you? To me, he's telling his audience, so yo, I know y'all not believing this guy. He's never given us anything to believe in. Why are you even believing this? And to me, Family Matters just like that is wiped. I never listened to Family Matters the same after Meet the Grams. It's the fact that Not Like Us came out right after. Not Like Us coming out right after and it being a hit record. And that's why I don't give a damn about this lawsuit. Not Like Us, when it came out, was already viral. It was already through the moon. People were dancing, throwing up all types of gang signs.
Mustard on the beat, ho.
It was different, bro. I believe Zia's damn near tackled B. Lou on the ground.
You tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Like, this was the biggest moment of the year. People hearing Not Like Us, hearing DJ Mustard for the first time in a minute. I don't care what UMG did. UMG did what they were supposed to do. If you're complaining about UMG pushing Not Like Us, ask yourself, why didn't UMG push Meet the Grams? Meet the Grams to me was the lower blow. That was Kendrick Lamar going to hell. Why didn't they push Meet the Grams? Because Meet the Grams does not have pop appeal. Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar could have said his ABCs on that record. That shit would have bumped regardless. So when they hear Not Like Us and they see all these streamers and influencers and people dancing along to it, their job is to push the record. That's their job, you idiot.
I own you, big head, I own you. Even when you're dead, I own you. Forget what he said, I own you.
I don't even get it, bro. Not Like Us is officially the greatest diss track of all time. But all in all, what this beef did in conclusion, to me, it set everybody back to where they were at the beginning. Remember what I said about J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. Remember what I said about all three. For Drake, this lawsuit is the equivalent of this.
Man, you're looking at him. The Grassy Panthers, Jimmy Brooks is on the prowl.
And now this lawsuit is aligned with that. For Kendrick Lamar, we talked about the Nickersons, the rap battling, being from Compton. Everything Kendrick has done this year, 2024 and 2025, is aligned with exactly that.
So far ahead of my time, I got people 5 years from now pressing rewind. I'm hardly impressed with y'all. I hate rappers. Where did you artists at? If it ain't a good picture you draw, don't bring it to the architect.
And then last but not least, J. Cole. All about being humble, letting the work speak for itself. J. Cole is out the way.
And humble, like try to stay that way as long as you possibly can. Because like, you might not even be the best nigga in the world, you might not be that good, but your personality, if you humble, down to earth, but still, you know, not saying you just quiet and shy, but if you just, like, if you know you ill, but yet you humble with it, it's gonna get you far.
J. Cole understands, yo, all I need is my fan base. Y'all can have everything else. With that being said, no matter where you rank these three, they're all very special. They all have a huge place in hip hop. And I have to say, these three have given us some of the greatest entertainment you can ask for. So this is something I'm going to show my kids. I don't have kids yet, but when I do have kids and they get a certain age, I'm going to play them this video right here so they can know that we witnessed three of the biggest acts in hip hop history and the greatest rap beef of all time.
All right. I think that's the longest episode I ever did. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey, man, if y'all had to break it up, it's all good too. But yeah, that was a really good episode. I agree with a lot of the things he said. I think that what he said was actually on point on some things. Some things I disagree with, but it wasn't like over the top disagreeing with. I definitely think that the rise and the fall of the big three, just the ideology of it. But I definitely think that these guys are always going to be cemented in their place in hip hop. Their legacy is going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think that if he said that J. Cole had his turn, I think Kendrick is having his turn. I think Kendrick Lamar felt as though they had to go to war for the best, and that's what he was looking for since back in 2009, 10. Kendrick Lamar been saying he wanted to be the best, and I think that it took him all this time, and he got to where he at. So, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here with me. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. You already know what it is. Torture Talk, King of the North, all that good stuff. All right, man. Have yourself a good one. See y'all. Peace. Bye.